across the fence, a visit to Montreal Botanical Gardens by day and its gardens of light by night. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. We're fortunate to live close to the diverse international city of Montreal. Among the many attractions in the city is the world-famous Botanical Gardens. To learn more about the gardens and in particular the gorgeous Lights and Lanterns Festival, I'm joined by UVM horticulturalist Leonard Perry. Great to see you again.
Great to be back, Judy.
So, what makes these gardens so spectacular?
Well, as you mentioned, they are world famous. It's supposedly the second most important in the world behind Kew Gardens in England. About 100 acres, all kinds of gardens, a lot of changing displays each year, different plants. Always learn things when I go up each year for this. And I lead a tour up there each year too, which we'll mention at the end about these tours that go up there.
Now, there's a special Lights and Lantern Festival every fall, and for those who aren't aware of it, what's the festival all about?
Okay, one of the main gardens in Montreal, Botanic Gardens, is the Chinese gardens, depicting the Ming Dynasty, so very traditional, what you might picture. And each year they have a lantern festival. Now, Chinese lanterns go way back in time to the Han Dynasty of 206 BC, and but today this is probably the largest and longest running outside of China lantern festival. And in recent years, they've actually combined it with lighting, more contemporary lighting, in the Japanese garden next door to it for the Festival of Lights.
So what are we going to take a look at this year?
Okay, we'll start with the theme this year, and then we'll take a look back at some of the previous ones. Now, the theme changes each year. It's a great way to learn about Chinese culture and history, as we'll learn a few snippets today. Yeah, so 2016 this year, the theme was the Forbidden City, go back to 1420 when it was founded, which is basically a compound within the capital city of Beijing of palaces. So that's kind of the overview of the pond in the middle of the Chinese garden with the pavilion, and there is the lanterns. Now, these again aren't just things that hang from posts. These are all made each year. A lot of the main exhibits are different each year. This depicts one of the palaces in the Forbidden City, the emperor and all the various aspects. And then here is the emperor riding to his wedding. Just beautiful colors. Again, these are designed in Montreal, made in China, and then reassembled each year for September and October. It's coming up, early November is the end of this. So, but here is the emperor riding to his wedding, and his bride showing up veiled. And so just again, a lot of detail in these beautiful colors that you can see by day. Now, the emperor with musicians, you say, well, emperor's kind of small. Well, of the many emperors over the years, 7 were actually boys. And the youngest was 2 years old when he became emperor. The emperorship is handed down from the father to the eldest son. So that's what this depicts here. And then men beating drums to signify special events and the emperor coming. But again, you can just take a look at the colors of sea dragon out in the pond. That's just, like I say, the colors just it really shines by night, but by day you can really see a lot more bright colors. And of course, pandas, which are very emblematic of so much in Chinese culture. And then what we can do is just take a look back,
yeah, because as you said, every year there's a theme. And so what are some of the years past themes?
Well, I thought we'd take a look at the previous 6 years just to get an overview of some of these. I had a lot of fun looking through these and wanted to share just a few pictures. So starting back in last year, 2015, the theme was going back in a lot of great things there, but the Lunar New Year. And again, this is when you normally see these lanterns, but this is signifying blue waves, white birds. There's a legendary sea monster on the left, Neon, who attacked villages at the end of the year. And the things that this sea monster didn't like were the colors red and noise and sound, and hence those are all things you see at the beginning of the new year to scare off that sea monster there. And this is just a dragon you can see. And then these are vases. The vases, again, a lot of symbolism in Chinese culture. These vases have some significance, symbolize peace. Peach on them represents longevity, and the plum, renewal and spring perseverance and hope. I thought this was pretty neat to see them by night. It looks like they're just floating in the air.
It does.
So it gives you a feel for by day and by night, the different effects you can get with these. Lions, these are also emblematic. Here, these are dancers dressed as a lion by day. The lion was supposed to ward off evil spirits, hence you see these at the opening and entrance to many Chinese gardens, also to bring good fortune in business. Hence, again, something for the Chinese New Year that you often see. And then moving right along, we'll see them at night time too. So you can again see, and the expressions I just love on some of these as well. Now moving on to 2014, this theme this year was the famous Admiral Zhang He, who was back in the Ming Dynasty in the early 1400s, and he had 7 major expeditions to various countries, about 30 total in Asia and East Africa. And so you can see the emperor there with one of the pavilions of the Chinese garden at night, but here's by day with his sailing ships going on the expeditions. Beautiful. They use a lot of massing of flowers like these Rudbeckia, black-eyed daisies in the foreground there. But then by night, one of the exotic things he brought back to China was the giraffe, and hence a full-size giraffe done in lanterns, which again is just pretty special to see that kind of thing. A peacock, again by night, and bird of paradise flower in the background, but just really illuminated well. Tigers, of course, something that you find in certain areas there, and then elephant here as well at the entrance of the bamboo. So just some really pretty cool things from 2014. Now, going to 2013, the theme this year was rainforest and all its various aspects in the southern Yunnan province. Here, water buffalo by day, and then you can tending the fields, and here the Chinese lanterns overall in the rainforest in 2013. And then you can see the water buffalo by night.
It just floats.
It does. It's amazing. And I love the night. One of the things about especially years like that where it's not real colorful, that was mainly all green during the daytime. But then at night you get that reflection. So it's like you've got double, you know, the amount of lanterns. So continuing on, there are just a few other aspects of the rainforest, the birds, the cranes, the various plants such as the bamboo here. This is a banana flower hanging down in banana leaves that you find in the rainforest in the southern Yunnan province. This was kind of neat because it was a frog on a lotus there, water plants, water lilies, and here is actually a lotus in the pond that they grow there, the Chinese gardens by day. So a real one, not a lantern. So I thought people are always amazed with that. Now going to 2012, this is pretty cool. This was the Festival of the Peaches, and this marked the 20th anniversary of the Lantern Show in Montreal. So it's been going over that. In 2012, it's going 20 years. Now this is the Queen Mother of the West, and these are the peaches of immortality. And so to move on, we can see what these peaches do. Here's the festival, and the back is the Queen Mother of the West and the goddess of immortality on the left, and it's been worshipped for over 2,000 years. And then the Jade Emperor, the Father of the Heavens on the right. You can see the table laid out there and all the attendants. And here are a couple of the guests. This is on the right, a happy monk there who's associated with generosity and good fortune, and then a goddess of compassion as well, headed to the exhibit. And then these are the 8 immortals. These are very famous in Chinese culture, often featured in music and art, and depict various people, from military to common person, rich and poor, musician, woman, man, various aspects. These are basically humans that ate the immortal peaches and became immortal. So
that's amazing how much you learn just by going to this exhibit.
You do, really, and just going back through and looking at these. And just brought a couple more, which are pretty special, too. Going back to 2011, the theme was the first emperor of China, which is back in 221 BC. It's the first of over 400 emperors. We saw that earlier that 7 were boys, but here's the emperor coming in, and this was one of my favorites of the years. Just all the horses, which were to scale, and the entourage and the colors, that was just pretty special. And then the you see some of the close-up of the soldiers, their expressions at night. The legacy, you can see to this day, is the tomb of the terracotta warriors that was excavated in December of 1980 in Xi'an. So you can see that today. And then finally, we'll look at the 2010 exhibit, the 25th anniversary of Montreal and Shanghai being twinned as sister cities. And this depicted the theme of the most famous Chinese painting from the Qingming Festival in 1127, which depicted all aspects of the Song Dynasty, and it depicted various aspects. Here's a man and a camel, and there's the painting in the background, a pavilion. So just a lot of beautiful colors here in 2010 in this Lantern Festival. And again, it, went back many other years and many more. So,
well, thanks for going through your archives. That was great.
It was fun just to revisit some of these, and like you say, you learn a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
About this.
So now there are many other aspects of the Montreal Botanical Gardens, including some stunning flower displays. What will we see this year?
Okay, I thought I'd just bring a few this year to show of the different flowers, because again, each year they have different new flowers, they have different combinations. This was one of the most stunning entrances to the gardens that I have seen. I mean, it's just like a tapestry or carpet, several acres, it must be, or at least an acre or two, just of flowers. I guess this is what I've seen referred to as stuffed planting. Everything's just stuffed in there, but you can see just it looks like it goes on forever.
But it looks, I mean, obviously very well planned out. It's not a mishmash.
Yeah, it is, and you kind of see these almost waves of the silvers and reds, and on each side of this one is a tall flowering tobacco, which I use in my own garden, which is great. And again, you can get ideas, you can see these masses, but then you can look close up and get ideas, for instance, these combinations for your own garden. If you look close to see, well, what are all these? Well, these are some different coleus, the leafy, foliage plants, and you have the bluish ageratum, you have some gold, lantana, you have some silver dusty miller, just basically all repeated throughout this, kind of a bit random, but kind of a pattern to create those kind of a wave effect. So again, I thought that was just tremendous, and could just sit and stare at that. It was
Love
amazing.
the combinations.
Like I say, I've never seen quite the tapestry, and you can see that in the spring they have bulbs and so forth. But in that same area are the fountains at the entrance, and then you have a border here, and this is a giant variegated pampas grass in the background. Take a closer look. You see some in the background pink, the plume type celosia, and a blue fescue grass, and on the right a pennisetum or fountain grass. Again, just a simple combination you could take home. This is a plant I took home in my mind to plant next year, try it. It's a new one of the globe amaranths, which I hadn't seen before. In fact, I saw it actually on a few parking lots locally here, so some other landscapers are using it, called Fireworks. So, and then the main walk down from the restaurant back to the display beds, these are wax leaf begonias, various colors. So again, full sun, doing great. So again, something you could even take home and do on a smaller scale, just a combination. At the entrance there was this combination I thought was pretty striking, with the texture as well as kind of repeating the pinkish colors, the New Zealand cabbage palm or cordyline along with the fountain grass. Again, the fine texture, the coarse texture. These would be tender. You'd have to bring them in. This was kind of interesting, going back the pictures. This is something I get questions on each year from people on my tours. It's like, what is that golden kind of plant? Well, that's a sedum lemon ball back in 2012. It's kind of ball shaped, but now let's look at 4 years later. You can see how it grows in to make a nice ground cover. No longer balls, but a great ground cover for a sunny spot. And then kind of another, finally, I just wanted to show this. It was kind of new this year. This is just a frame, like you would walk through an arbor, and it's lined with black cloth, say like a weave fabric, and then filled with a planting mix, and then those flowers and petunias on the top and sweet potato vines are all planted within that. Of course, you'd have to water it like a hanging basket daily, or have some sort of irrigation. But I thought that's a neat thing. You can make any kind of frame, line it and fill it, and you could experiment with that on your own.
Great for an outdoor wedding.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you led a tour to Montreal. What have you got planned for this coming year?
Okay, Judy, yeah, I've got several tours in the works. I've got a shopping tour in May to northwestern Vermont locations, 4 4 different sites there, and that's probably going to be on that the 3rd Monday in May. And then in June, we have 3 days in the last week of June to Maine and the seacoast of New Hampshire to see some pretty special gardens there. And then in July, we're planning one to Pennsylvania, a 5-day trip to see some of the most important and special gardens in the country, actually, in that area. It's kind of a seat of horticulture, and we'll see some really special places there.
That sounds like you got a full year planned already.
Well, we have some great ones. Of course, we'll be going back to Montreal next fall. And on my website, I put these up, but also people can contact me if they, through that, perrysperennials.info. And if they want to find out more about these tours, keep up to them and actually get on the list to get the first notice of when these come out.
Leonard, thanks so much.
Thank you, Judy.
That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.